Welcome back, Facebook friends. And today I came to just tell you a story, a little anecdote, as they say, because in the last week or so I thought to myself, hey, I haven't made a video in a while. I haven't desperately sought attention. And I remember the first time I made one of these videos, it was out of frustration, thinking that no one read what I wrote. And that's still partially true, but stories are more interesting than points, than making accurate, profound, pointed comments, or, yeah. So anyway, into the story. So I'm at Shelton High School right now doing what I'm calling my apprenticeship, right? Back when I was an electrician, I had put in a whole bunch of hours, certain amount of hours before I could take the test, before they could give me the license. A lot of other trades are like that. And I'm learning that teaching is a trade. And, I'm going for a bachelor's of science, so it's going to be, so I can get a certificate at the end of my, when I graduate, and it's for a vocation, it's almost like I'm at a tech school. I'm a very specific job I'm lining up for, secondary education, English teacher, right? So anyway, I'm in Shelton High School now, observing, and I'm participating too. I get to, whatever, I'll brag later. So I'm observing. So I'm sitting in homeroom after our not even, we have a moment of meditation, they say, right? In the beginning of school, and they say, we'd like everyone to take a moment of silent meditation. Okay, that's it. And I was, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. No. Immediately after meditation, as soon as that kid breathes again, boom, into the news, right? So they have a news program in the beginning of every day, and you get to watch, your local school news. And I just so happened to be there on election day, or the day before election day. Actually, it was the Monday, because they were closed actual election day, but the day before election day, and lined up right along with our elections, out here in the real world. In the school, they have, elections, and they have president and vice president and secretary and treasurer, and, I counted at least 5 or 6 or 7 positions. And instead of, campaigning in the traditional way, everything's new in technology, so now people make campaign videos. And they give them to the news, and the news gives them to the students. It's no different than outside the school, right? Where the news stations control what you hear, what you know, your knowledge. It's your avenue of knowledge, political knowledge, if you don't pick up books and read about the past, and then you can learn about what's happening now without even watching the news. But anyway, so, I'm prepared to see some campaign videos, right? Before it all comes on, the teacher, nice guy, the one male English teacher in the school, me and him had a conversation about that, and he tells me, yeah, everyone's running unopposed. And I said, excuse me? And the kids around knew it too. Yeah, oh yeah, no one's running against everybody. All 6, let's just say a number for now, I could be wrong, but all 6 positions, the president from last year, he's running again unopposed. The vice president from last year, she's running again unopposed, and so on, and so on, and so on. That was a little, not shocking, I won't say that, because shocking, I'll save that. I did get shocked that day. So, and one kid raises his hand, and I like to think this would have been me in high school, if this was the situation in my high school, and raised his hand and said, "Hey, everyone's running on a poll. Like, do we have to vote?" Like, it was sincere. This was a sincere question. This was not sarcastic. He's like, "Do we have to vote?" Before the teacher could answer him, 4 or 5 of his classmates shouted him down. "Yes, it's your right. You gotta vote." Like an angry mob, basically. Right? And the kid's like, and I like to say out here in the real world that, your voting is insignificant. That's why I've never done it. You don't have any influence in Washington, lobby, whatever, okay? I could talk about that forever. But in this high school, in this particular instance, like, it's literal. Everyone's running unopposed. So voting really is a dog and pony show. It's just for show, right? So the kid, he gets shouted down. And then, okay, now it's time to watch the campaign videos. Ba-bing! And, obviously the children weren't trying. A couple of them were just like indecipherable Snapchat videos. I won't even attempt to describe, okay? There was one real video, which was by a foreign student who was the treasurer. And you could tell that this student had no idea how American politics worked, okay? Because it was about 30 seconds of financial policy, real, tangible, issues and talking points. And of course the kids made fun of him, but disturbing part was that and they were making fun of course, appearances. You couldn't make fun of what he was saying, and that's why politics has gone way down since the television, since appearances has just ruled everything. But anyway, but the disturbing part was that the teacher was the one leading the charge of making fun of the foreign student, who's clearly, this video was going on his college application. He didn't give a what the rest of the school did, right? This kid was smart. But the teacher making fun of his drapes in the couch, I mean, that was... So, but anyway, they saved the best for last, which was the president's video. And it starts out with, he's running like a mock press conference, and he's in his full football uniform. Helmet, pads, everything, right? And they're asking him questions about being president, and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, wait!" And he takes off the helmet and the shoulder pads, and he's wearing a suit and a tie, and he looks presidential, right? Sort of like a parlor trick, which I don't necessarily blame him for or criticize. I think that was clever or cute, or at least an attempt at originality, right? So the questions are kind of banal. They don't really, there's no talking points or anything that is interesting. But then the last question, and it was probably his mom feeding him the questions, or another adult female. Could have been his aunt. And her last question was, "So, how do you plan to keep your spot on the varsity and still be able to be class president and get all this stuff done and get good grades?" Like, it was like a pressing question, right? I was like, oh, how's he going to answer this? And this kid goes, "Well, everybody knows that the only reason I have my spot on the varsity is because my dad is the athletic director. So, everything should be okay." And at that moment, his dad comes into the like this, goes, okay, and he's wearing his kid's football uniform, and he goes like, "Yeah, go Shelton, woo!" And then the video just cuts. Now, I'm maintaining like my professional air. When I drive, when I get into the parking lot, I become a different person, right? I'm a teacher, so I'm, those people don't know me. And so I'm maintaining all of my professional countenance, as, my look, my gait. And I could not help After that video, I was sitting right next to the teacher. After that video ended, I just went, that was obnoxious? And then I was like, and the couple kids around me were like, yeah, like, here. And that perfectly lines up with politics now, you know, where most Americans are apathetic. We don't participate in your bunk elections. Look at the last one. Most Americans did not participate because, we know this stuff it's not real. It's not on the up and up. It's not face value. What you see is not what you get. So why am I going to go through your dog and pony show? But anyway, I had to share that because how sad is that? No one is opposing the student government. Status quo is okay. Everything is copacetic. Why are we having elections? All right.